Rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gon' rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Do you know how many people say things like, they make me so angry? What do I hear? I have given my power and my emotional state over to someone else. They make me so angry? That would imply you don't have a choice in the matter. When you emotionally mature, you choose how to move your energy, which does not mean you're not without emotion, and it does not mean that you do not experience different kinds of emotion. What it means is you take responsibility and control for how that gets expressed and what you do with it.
Summer Wells went missing on June 15th, 2021. She disappeared from her home at 110 Ben Hill Road in Hawkins County. On her 2-year milestone, we placed this banner on the side of the road. Since she went missing, she hasn't been heard or seen from again. While I was visiting the area, I saw Don Wells working on his truck and asked him if he'd come down and speak to me, which he did. Don Wells and I had a conversation about his daughter Summer Wells and information related to her disappearance. Don Wells maintains that somebody came on the property and took his daughter away. He still believes after all this time she has been abducted. His family came under heavy scrutiny, but they maintained their innocence. One thing Don Wells told me is that they have no new leads into anybody that could have been responsible or is responsible for the disappearance of his daughter Summer Wells. Many people across this country want to know what happened to Summer Wells. Where is Summer? If you have any information related to the disappearance of Summer Wells, you are asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
Well, good afternoon, my beautiful people of YouTube and X. What is shaking bacon? So we are up in the house, and I was just going to do a chill and chat with you guys. And I got to be honest with you, I came across this little story here. And I read it, and oh my gosh, I don't know if this is jealousy, biasness, or if it's something we need to look at. So I thought it was a great topic of conversation. It gets us away from the stuff that we've been kind of conversating about for quite some time now. All the random, not normal stuff, Alec Murdaugh, Brian Koberger. This is something a little bit different, and I thought you guys would enjoy this conversation. Luteens, it's nice to see you. Lulu's Nana. Sunshine Cheryl, it's always nice to see you up in the house. Brown Chicken, Skittles Crime, Mike Stevens up in the house. Cutie Pie, it's nice to see you. Sonia, good to see you as well. Bullhorn Betty is present. Roxy, it's nice to see you. Happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's and everyone as well. I know, right? I worked on it. So it's great to see you. We got Sammy in the house. Old Rusty is up in the house as well. Pebbles, our beautiful Pebbles, our beautiful It's Me Jen. It's nice to see you. Hindsight 2020. The real Me Too. Good afternoon, Michelle. It's nice to see you. Who else do we have? I always scroll through and never really read what you guys write. You guys might want to leave your commentary until after roll call. So I see it. Just Deb, it's nice to see you, honey. Good morning or good afternoon. Ruby Slippers, it's nice to see you up in the house. Betty fan, it's nice to have you as well. Pen 1010, Sonia, and I can't even speak. Angel Loader. No, I'm not saying that to you. I'm just getting so tongue-tied here. Elsie, it's nice to see you. Michelle, and then I want to make sure, light it up for Jen. We did get some stuff. It looked like Aileen was out there to help set up some stuff. So she sent me some videos of herself out there helping Layla's family. Last night, I believe it was last night, if I'm not mistaken. I will check to make sure the information is accurate for the exact police that's out there. Don't want to lie to anybody, and definitely don't want to misspeak, right? I mean, it's the worst crime. It's even worse than diddling with a kid, according to some people. I don't get it. I get it. I understand. I don't get it either. Manic Mama T, it's nice to see you. Crystal Lynn, it's nice to see Unicorn is in the house. Hey, Unicorn, I got your message. I'll give you a call. I've just been, I've been slammed. I haven't called Lori. I haven't called. It's me too. I haven't. My call book is. I need to get a hold of everybody. But I will give you a call. I think I am I scheduled to call you this? I don't remember. We'll find out. I'll call you. Oh, thank you, Lulu's Nana. It's nice to see you, Cool Gamer. Tammy Crimes up in the house. It's nice to see all of my beautiful people. Reggie, be good. It's nice to see you, honey. All the beautiful people that love doing great things for our community. Stevie's mom, BZ Collecting. It's nice to see you, BZ. MJ is up in the house. So it's nice to see you all. If I missed anybody, what is this? Catacosmosis? Did I get it right? My hooked on phonics is broken. I just want to let you know. My hooked on phonics is broken. So Nani McPoppins, it's nice to see you. Tammy Sue Texan, and it's nice to see you as well. So I'm just going to kind of pop right on into this because we have a lot to go over. This entire story, it takes a while to read through. I mean, I printed out just the text, right? And this is like 17 pages here. It's a freaking court document. So we're going to go over it because I found it very interesting. It was very, I got it right. Yay. Let's get Bullhorn Betty and just when I think the hook is broken, we find out Bullhorn Betty has hooked on phonics. Yay. Proud of myself, every now and then, it's okay to give yourself a pat on the back. I know this day and age, everybody talks about these pats on the back. Your own pats on the back are not good. I'm sorry. Every now and again, you just need get your arm up, reach it around, reach it. Come on, guys. I see you guys aren't participating. Go ahead and put your hand on your back and pat your back. You did a good job. So before we get started, I just got this little video ready to rock and roll. Got it prepared, and in the final, I was wanting to do more with it, but I couldn't because I'm on my computer and my video software is on my phone. Go figure, right? Just the luck of the draw. So it is what it is. This is what we got.
Cold Justice is a TV show unlike any other show that exists on TV, because what we do is go out to small counties and cities all across the country where murder cases are waiting to be solved and worked on, and do our very best to see if we can do whatever we can to try and put those cases together to get justice for families. And it's real. I'm a former prosecutor, so I know what it takes to put a case together in the courtroom. I'm working with cops that have worked hundreds of murder cases in their careers, and we bring that kind of experience and knowledge and know-how everywhere we go all across the country, trying to truly get something done for so many families out there that are hurting. It's just what happens when we meet the families. You know who you're going to be meeting as far as the relationship to the murder victim, but when you look into their eyes and you have them tell you what they've gone through, what the criminal justice system has done to further break their heart, and you feel their pain and frustration, and they tell you about their loved one, how do you not feel that? How do you not want to do your very best to help those people? I don't think that you can ever quit feeling that if you do this job.
So there you guys have it. There it's a little kind of, trailer into our conversation today. Many of us know Kelly Siegler. I personally, I loved Cold Justice. I don't know how many people were like me out there that watched this show religiously. We liked seeing these cold cases solved. This is before investigative genetic genealogy testing. They did a lot of cases that were many years old. And this was prior to DNA evidence. So a lot of these cases, when the DNA evidence, when DNA, perfected and made it a little easier to get those DNA, the microscopic DNA profile, because at one time you needed a large amount of saliva or blood or something that contained a massive amount of DNA in order to process DNA. It just is what it is. And a lot of these cases, they didn't have enough DNA to process them. They had the DNA. They knew it existed. They tried to keep the evidence as, hey, Connie, it's nice to see you. So we all love this show, and she did good. I mean, think about how many cases they were able to resolve with that show. Even if they had 100 episodes and even if they only solved 1 or 3 cases out of 100 episodes, that's 3 cases that they solved as a group. And it's amazing. And of course, a lot throughout this whole entire show, they kind of embolden her prosecutorial highlights, right? And they talk about how much of a go-getter and a pit bull of a prosecutor this woman is. And, I've never looked really into her because, quite frankly, I watched Cold Justice on TV. It was before true crime. That was my true crime fix, right? So we watched her, but we didn't really look into her. Well, there was something that was out, and it's by the Intercept. Now, this Intercept is I don't know if they're just an online publication, if it's a publication in Texas, or where the publication comes from, but I came across it online. This is something that they've just wrote recently as of yesterday. That's how I was able to, it was published by Jordan Smith and Liliana Segura. on December 17th, 2023 at 2:50 p.m. And when I read all this information about the secrets of stardom, that's the title of this, I have to tell you, because I love Kelly, I love the team, I love everything that they did, right? I just loved it. That when I read this, there was times that I was getting a little hot under the collar. And I'm ready to start screaming at these people that wrote this article. But I had to take my emotion out of this article and read what they were saying in it so I could formulate an opinion. Because to be honest with you, this wasn't a very appealing article for Kelly Siegler. And many of us know Kelly Siegler, not just from Cold Justice, but she's starting up a new movie, and we'll go over, or a new TV series that we'll go over here in just a little bit, because I'm pretty sure it was in the article, because I read this article diligently. But this case really focuses on a case of Ronald Pribble Jr. and how she basically, they're trying to allege that she, manufactured evidence, and that she's utilizing not expert witnesses, jailhouse informants to make her circumstantial cases stronger. That she's got this secret sauce and leverages it inappropriately. They're basically saying they're calling her professionalism and ethics into question with these cases, because she solved a lot of high profile cases. That's one of the reasons why this program called Cold Justice wanted her to be one of the casting members. A lot of the people are ancillary people, so they're not getting paid for the job, but there's a core group of people that are contracted. And Kelly Siegler is one of them. She was also at CrimeCon. She was at CrimeCon and spoke. And even with all this stuff going on and all the controversies going on, and of course, I would have to presume jealousy from some people. And not only that, but like the defense attorneys in Texas, they're like chomping at the bit to help get their clients off. And as we learned with the Alec Murdaugh case, whenever you have a prosecutor or clerk that is, seeking up a different level or going in a different realm that provides them more public exposure and more prominence and more stardom, so to speak, you're going to have people that are going to attack that in an effort to get their clients off, saying, hey, she was overzealous. Look at this. She was doing this so she could become a star over here. That's kind of what they're saying about Becky Hill as well with the Alec Murdaugh case. So I just thought that there was a lot in here that we can unpack and really dive in, because I know that Kelly Siegler is somebody that we all know and love. We all probably have heard of Cold Justice. If we haven't, I'm pretty sure everybody's running to their Netflix account right now to see what it's all about, right? So in the realm of murder cases gone cold, it was a challenging one, even for Kelly Siegler, a veteran prosecutor from Houston, Texas, with nearly a perfect conviction record. And that's very hard. And I think that in and of itself is what's causing a little heartburn now that she's moved on and is now this well-to-do person. So there were a few facts to start with. The 29-year-old Maggie Pointer had disappeared in 1987. What was left of her was found in a ravine in Alamogordo, New Mexico, 17 years later. Despite best efforts of the local cops hunting the case, it remained unsolved. The I can't even pronounce this. Alamogordo Police Department, my Hooked on Phonics is broken, needed help, and Siegler, the star of a true crime reality show, Cold Justice, was there to answer the call. Siegler arrived in town with her co-star, Yolanda McCleary, a former Las Vegas crime scene investigator, and Johnny Bonds, a retired Houston homicide detective. They had their work cut out for them, but there was an additional hurdle. The statutes of limitation for second-degree murder has run out, Siegler explained in the start of the episode. So our job is this week is to see if the evidence warrants a first-degree murder charge. So this is, again, not common for investigators and prosecutors to look at cases and to see if there is another angle, especially when they have something like the statutes of limitations that is run out. If there's an elevated charge that you have the elements for, you can charge for that. And so at this moment, when they go into this town, they didn't have that additional element of premeditation. So they wanted to review the case right up front to see if premeditation exists in this case. So the statutes of limitations will be, void pretty much because, there's no statutes of limitations on first degree. So, but they turned that in. A first-degree murder in New Mexico has been committed with in a willful, deliberate way, she went on. Since we don't have a crime scene or DNA, we're going to need to find witnesses who can show that it was committed in a willful and deliberate way. Here's where the kicker is and where they start changing her narrative and manipulating what she's trying to do. In other words, determining what happened to Pointer wasn't the aim so much as ensuring that they landed on the scenario that would make her alleged killer eligible for punishment. I don't think that that's necessarily the case. They're there to solve a cold case. And therefore, they have this appears to be a second degree murder scenario, and they're trying to see if it warrants first. I don't see anything wrong with that. And I think that would be exactly what investigators would do when they're revisiting a cold case. I don't think that they're saying we don't want to know what's going on. I think what they're saying is there's been a lot of work done on this case up to this point. It's pointing to a second degree murder charge. Is there anything here? Because it's obviously not closed. Is there anything here that we can pick up on? And is there anything here that can make this a chargeable case now? But again, this is where I was getting heartburn in reading this. But there is some good information in this particular article related to cold justice. And everybody, I'm sure you guys remember Johnny Bonds. I liked him. I thought he was great. And actually reading his history was pretty interesting himself. He's been a go-getter. He's wrote books. He's been in movies, and he's been in this TV series. And he was a very good and well-to-do homicide detective. So, and he's been in homicide 30 plus years, I think is what I read. Really, I mean, everybody on this cold justice seemed to be the top of their field, at the time the cold justice series were coming out. Kelly Siegler, I really do believe, just has an amazing work ethic, despite what we're going to be reading in this article, because quite frankly, she's done a great job. And even in this article, let me see where it says it. I know it says here, while cold justice often boasts about the track record, it helped bring about 49 arrests and 21 convictions over the 6 seasons. I want to highlight that. So when we come back to talk about it at a future date, or a future time, I want to make sure that we have that. Now, tell me that's not amazing. 6 episodes, okay? 6 episodes, or 6 seasons. And I can't remember how many episodes were per season. I really can't. But in this article, let me pull this up here for you guys to see. And we're going to be bouncing around for this article. So if you guys would like to see this article and read it and digest it, I'm going to post it in the chat right now. There you go. You guys can read that. It is a long-winded, so I'm not going to read it verbatim to you guys here because it just take too long. For me to digest all of this and what they were trying to say, it took me some time because, of course, I'm researching the stuff as I'm reading it. But here is the article online. It says cold case killer. And of course, it goes right off and starts off in the secrets of stardom. This is a 4-part or 4-chapter article. And this just kind of goes through her background related to how she got here. But what I find very interesting is this team did solve cases. And I don't understand why they're having such heartburn over her prior cases. I feel like these defense attorneys are just finding anything that they can do to challenge their cases. And she dealt with some of the worst of the worst cases. I want to let you know that. So when they're researching her cases or trying to resolve cases, typically it's the worst of the worst, the murderers, the RRs, the SAers, those type of people. Those she was the go-to when you had barely a case. She had a way of explaining it to the jury. She had a way of taking cases that wouldn't, had it been anybody else. And I mean that wholeheartedly, because the way I'm reading it, she really just had this gift of explaining things to the jury so that they understand it. So here's where I wanted to go. Let me go to the page. Oh, I think I went too far. I did go too far. Okay. There we are. Right there. While cold justice often boasts about its track record, it has helped bring about 49 arrests and 21 convictions over 6 seasons, or 6 years, because seasons run, you usually have a season per year. So that is pretty stinking good. That is pretty stinking good. That's 2 or 3 arrests every single year that they have one of these, that they have a season. And I have to say that, I mean, I don't understand why anybody would complain about that. So I just want to read this. First degree murder in New Mexico. In order to determine, we already read that. The cold justice is identifying suspects. We've already read that. So they go on to say, scratch, he said, Bond said it would take about 15 to 20 seconds for Pointer to black out and at least another minute to kill her. A minute and a half of consistent pressure, because they're saying the person had scratches on his face and his fingers, and they're saying that they were able to explain that he had to have choked her, even though they had no body and no DNA. It was all circumstantial evidence, and so they're challenging that. Also, the episode titled Sunspot Highway aired July 2014 as part of the show's second season. Although Cold Case Justice had been running less than a year, Siegler had already attracted a devout following, and the Gordo DA's decision did not go over well. And fans were convinced that Pointer and that Pointer's coworker had killed her. So we had some kind of, even back in 2014, some kind of the stuff that we see on social media today when we cover these cold cases where people are accusing them. They had that situation going on with the DA's office after that particular episode when they chose not to prosecute that case. That case is so lacking in direct evidence, could convince Siegler's fan that the man's guilt was a testament to her skill at crafting narratives, whether for a TV audience or real-world jury. As an assistant district attorney in Harris County, Texas, Siegler was known for her courtroom theatrics. She once famously saddled her colleague atop a bloody mattress at trial. I remember seeing this too. It was spectacular to see, and I mean that not as happy. It was just one of those situations that you had never seen in a courtroom before, and it really did grab attention. And she did straddle her, and she acted like she was plunging her coworker 193 times to emulate the defendant of her stabbing her husband 193 times. A woman did, and she was prosecuting the case. Siegler's flair for dramatics was perfect for TV, while her resilience on circumstantial evidence allowed her to spin bare facts into compelling theories that might or might not be supported. And I've already told you what their stats are on the season. It says Oxygen Network reported that in May. The show also weathered a series of defamation lawsuits. Many of the cases Siegler assembled eventually fell apart precisely because there was too little direct evidence to convict whomever she identified as a killer. Siegler's TV career has not suffered for the controversy. In September, she took to the stage before a cheering crowd in Orlando, Florida, as one of the headliners for CrimeCon at the annual conference for true crime fans and creators. She was there to promote 2 shows. So not only The Cold Justice, here's the other one. She's doing another show called Prosecuting Evil with Kelly Siegler. Let me see if I can find that, which is right under here. Right there. So that's a new series that they're coming out with right there, Prosecuting Evil with Kelly Siegler. I'm actually interested in that. I like Kelly. I truly do like Kelly. Gives me pause, but I know what it is like to be, I can understand what it's like to be a prosecutor and having people breathing down your neck for cases that you've tried. Prosecuting Evil will revisit some of Siegler's old Harris County cases from behind the scenes. On paper, Siegler's record as Harris County prosecutor is far more impressive than the stats boasted on Oxygen Network. Over her 2 decades in Houston, Siegler handled more than 200 trials, securing more than 60 murder convictions. Like this, I got to tell you, she's a seasoned prosecutor, without a doubt. 60 murder convictions, 200 trials. She is a trial lawyer. A trial lawyer with some of the most difficult and complex law, which is the criminal justice system. So, and she's had 19 death sentences. So she was able to do 200 trials, have 60 murder convictions, and also have 19 death penalty cases out of those 60 murder cases, or the 200 trials that she was in. But the story behind some of those convictions raised serious questions about her integrity. While Siegler's formula for closing cases might make for good and great television, it has left a trail of wreckage in the wake. And I think this is kind of sensationalized a little bit, because they're like, in her wreckage of her wake, we've not had any. I mean, yes, every single prosecutor is going to have appeals. Every single prosecutor is going to have, decisions and rulings either changed, dropped, moved, redone. It does that. And you kind of expect that. So any prosecution, any attorney is going to have to expect that, at least in their career at some point. So I don't know if it's wreckage, but it's something that is part of the process, period. It is part of the process without a doubt. So with that being said, as Siegler TV star has been rising over the last decade, a parallel reality has been playing out in Texas courts, where allegations of prosecutorial misconduct have tarnished Siegler's reputation. Appellate litigation murder cases handled by Siegler are exposed a history of withholding exculpatory evidence from defense attorneys, including in a death penalty case. One prominent criminal defense attorney called on the Harris District Attorney to review all Siegler's convictions, which is not uncommon when somebody says, oh, we don't like it. Just like with Becky Hill, we're going to be anticipating them wanting to check to see if she's put her hands on the scales of justice with any other case. It's just part of how things are done, in my opinion. I mean, when you see something like this, every defense attorney is going to grasp at every single straw that they could possibly grasp at. Some of the most disturbing evidence of Siegler's conduct is documented in a file of cases that has largely gone unnoticed. This is, again, this person writing this article's opinion. Okay, there's no fact. They have not provided factual evidence to support these claims yet. The 2002 conviction of Ronald Jeffrey Pribble, I can't pronounce his name. Pribble was sentenced to death row for murdering of a Houston family. This family, it was a graphic scene at this house, and there were children involved. 3 children were also killed, but they weren't killed in the same fashion as their parents. Their parents were shot. The kids suffered, the house was set afire and smoke inhalation. The 3 children suffered from smoke inhalation. But he was sent to death row, and this particular case is the one that has really been explained more in this article than the other 2 cases that were on the first 2 pages. So Pribble was sentenced to death row, In 2022, a federal district judge overturned Pribble's conviction on the basis of Siegler's suppression of evidence, ordering the state to retry or release him within 6 months. Instead, Texas fought the order, persuading the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to reinstate Peebles' death penalty or death sentence on procedural grounds. The court did not address Siegler's action. Pribble appealed the U.S. Supreme Court, but in June, the justices declined to intervene. So, even this is the way it goes, and I've seen it before, even if there was prosecutorial misconduct, that doesn't automatically grant the convicted person a path to a new trial or to be released from court. There's also procedural grounds. One of those things is, and this is a question that the judges weigh all the time, if this procedure was followed, would it have substantially changed the outcome of the conviction? If this wasn't followed, and this is true, would it substantially change the outcome of the conviction? If it's not going to change the outcome of the conviction, then it doesn't matter if she did it does matter that she did prosecutorial misconduct. Don't get me wrong. I'm not giving her a free pass, but in the eyes of the law, if it's not going to change the conviction of that person, then they're not entitled to anything. Today, Pribble faces execution despite the facts that the case against him has unraveled. A months-long investigation by The Intercept. This is the person that wrote this article, or the company that wrote this article was The Intercept. And I got to tell you, I agree in part with this article, and there's parts that I don't agree with it that I think are sensationalized or biased by their disdain for Kelly Siegler. And you can clearly note it as you're reading this. Including a review of 1,000-page of court documents show that Pribble's case contains numerous hallmarks of wrongful convictions, from shockingly inept police investigation, which is not Kelly's fault, to unsupported junk science peddled by prosecutions at trial. Junk science, I don't know what they're talking about. Junk science. We will have to dive into this case to find out what they're referring to as the junk science. But particularly alarming is the way that Siegler weaponized, here comes, a network of confidential informants to construct her case against Pribble, as federal district judge found. The star witness was a man named Michael Beckham. I don't know if you know who Michael Beckham, but he owned a slew of Gold's Gyms. Who testified that Pribble's confessed to the killing while they were in prison together in Southeast Texas. Beckham, who was doing time for audacious murder of a federal witness as part of a ring of informants at the same lockup as Beaumont, each trying to game the system in an effort to shave time off their sentences. Several informants offered information to Siegler before they had met Pribble, according to the petition challenging his conviction filed in a federal court. The petition details how Siegler encouraged Beckham to extract details from Pribble that would help her convict him, and hid the extent of the informant's involvement at trial. And I'm not sure that that's the case, because they said that they hid his involvement at trial. And I looked at the transcripts on here, and it appears that based on the transcript that Kelly Siegler, when he was on the stand, this Beckham was on the stand, she actually talked to him about the deal that they had together. So I don't know if she hid that from them. I mean, they put him on the stand. To a Harvard Law professor, Alexandria Nedopoff, author of Snitching, Criminal Informants, and the Erosion of American Justice, the role of informants in Pribble's case is emblematic of a deeper problem that corrupts the criminal legal system. And this is where I started being I could feel like I was allowing my emotions because I was getting upset when I read some of this stuff. But when I removed my emotions and I was listening to what they were actually saying, I have to agree that some of this makes sense, but you know what? Without informants and without giving, without informants, we would maybe never know about a lot of stuff that goes on because, quite frankly, in situations like this where everybody's a criminal, nobody's going to cooperate because they're seasoned criminals and they're taught not to cooperate with law enforcement. So the only way you're going to get cooperation from them is if they want something from you and then you want something from them. That's literally the only way some of these people will cooperate. The American criminal law has essentially created an underground market in which we permit the state to trade leniency for information, she said. Prosecutors have wide discretion to avail them of informants who have obvious incentives to lie about what they know, a leading cause of wrongful convictions. Because so much of these negotiations and transactions take place under the table, the likelihood that anyone will ever find out is extremely low. And I disagree because most prosecutors and defense counselors, when they have one of those witnesses up there, one of the first questions they ask is, are you receiving any benefit from this testimony? And then they expand on that so the jury knows that they have a reason to lie. And because we reward the police and prosecutors for arrests and convictions, we have a baked-in dysfunctional incentive for them to use bad witnesses, bad evidence over and over again. So that's where I'm going to stop on this particular article. We haven't gotten through the entire first chapter yet. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to bring up for this first chapter. Maybe we should just do the entire first chapter so it leaves the second chapter for tomorrow at noon, because it's very interesting as we walk through this. I mean, this is very interesting. I don't know what else to say than that. This is a very interesting case that Kelly Siegler is now being accused, and many defense attorneys are now asking for all of her cases in Texas to go under extensive review for prosecutorial misconduct. And again, this is breaking as of yesterday with her in this article. And I don't know, this has probably been going on for some time, because we know that cold justice has gone on for some time, and we know that there was a litany of defamation suits that came out of that, and they've weathered all the defamation suits. What else did they do? And they've gotten convictions. So I don't know. This is what I perceive. Now, this is lacking any meaningful corroboration of information. We're going off literally an article that's not painting Kelly in the best light possible. But I'm also, this is not our first rodeo. We're looking at what Miss Becky Hill's going through in Colleton County, South Carolina. And we can see that, when somebody starts making bones or starts becoming well known as a leader in their profession or something like that, they start getting, noticed. They start having a following. They start becoming popular. We know that there are, and this is no different. Politics is a brutal, brutal thing. And I say politics because all this stuff is all politically motivated. Even the lawyers, they're trying to get that judgment, that judgeship, right? They're trying to get that judgeship. They're wanting to become a judge. It's all political. It really is. I know you guys are thinking it's not, but it truly is. It truly is. And so they want to be able to show that they're the leader, that she did underhanded stuff, that she didn't play fair, that she didn't play by the rules, that she didn't do this, she didn't do that, in an effort to damage not only her professionally, but, obviously she's getting a good following in the true crime sector. And she's got the show like Johnny Bonds. Like I said, I didn't realize he was like in 4 or 5 or 6 different movies before he went to Cold Case. And I think that was back in the 40s and 50s. And then he became a detective, and he was in construction for a short time between jobs, and he went back into becoming a detective. And he was there for like 31 years before he retired. And I think that's where he met Kelly, was in his job as the detective. And so whenever they had an opportunity to collab on this project, I think she brought Johnny in because Johnny seemed like, well, one, he's not camera shy. You know, that's very important when you're doing documentaries like this. You can't have people that are camera shy and freeze up on camera. It's awful. You got to have people that don't mind talking. And what's so good is like prosecutors and stuff, they're used to talking in front of public. They're used to doing wild things like, you know, having a coworker on a bloody mattress as you act, you know, play like you're stabbing them 193 times, you know, to set a you know, an image for the jury to find, because 190, you're talking about somebody being there for a while, you know. I mean, even if you just went, I mean, for that, you know, it's not going to be that person's not going to be a sewing machine. So think about how effective that was to show the jury how long it took her to do 109, and just the gravity of 193 stabs. I mean, she has no problem making her point. I love that about her. I love that about her. So, you know, I don't know how this is going to affect those cases in Texas. I really don't. I haven't looked into them, but this is what I think is going to happen. I think they're probably going to find maybe she was inappropriate in a couple cases because, let's face it, she's human. People make mistakes all the time. Something that's not exculpatory, you know, 10 years later, they may argue that it's exculpatory. We don't know the stuff. So I love this lady. I think she's great. And you know what? If she got the job done, she got the job done. If she did it inappropriately, those people need to have new trials, period. You know how I feel about that. We have to be above board. You know, that's what we hire these people and pay them an awful lot of money to do, is to do their job well, and do their job well above board. So with that being said, I think that's really all I had for this cold justice. I know we're trying to keep everything to about an hour, but we went over a little bit. Let me see if there's any other things that I wanted to show you related to this. Oh, I did want to go over the case, but we're not quite there yet. And I feel like I'm going to get ahead of myself if we start going into the Preble case and giving you guys the background on Preble, because he is, this case was horrific. What he is accused of doing is horrific. I do believe she has the right guy. Well, I believe she has the right guy because of several key factors in this. Even though they're arguing he's innocent and that she railroaded him, I don't believe that's the case. I believe that he got away with something, and he's now having to pay for what he got away with. There is, and that's all I'm willing to say right now. Does anybody have any questions? What do you guys think about Kelly? Would you guys like me to turn the phones on so you can call in? And, you know, this caught my attention because I missed her when Cold Justice went off for seasons. I literally had like withdrawals. I was a religious watcher of Cold Justice. I am a true crime junkie. I've been a true crime junkie before I even knew what a true crime junkie was. And her and Yolanda, you know, I think the reason why Yolanda stepped down is I think she started having like a major alcohol problem while on set, if I'm not mistaken. I could be absolutely wrong about that, but I just remember getting a whiff that Yolanda was drinking really heavily on these cases, that it was becoming almost noticeable. But I might be just thinking of another thing and thinking it was her, or another situation altogether. But I remember hearing something like that back in the day, because I liked her. I liked Yolanda too. I liked the way she thinked in her crime scene reenactments. So I can hear Snoop before you go on. Oh, yes. Thank you for advertising that. If you guys, many of you know that we have our beautiful Sonia in our chat. She does shirts and all kinds of custom gift items. She even has some gag gifts for Christmas. If you need some gifts for Christmas, I think you might be cutting it a little close, but you might want to get with Sonia. and see about getting some custom shirts, custom cups. She does everything. She does cups, she does koozies, she does keychains, you name it. This lady does hats. She does it. So you want an affordable custom item? Reach out to Sonia. She does great work. She helps a lot of families. When you support Sonia, you're supporting somebody that truly helps victims of crimes. She helps design flyers. She's provided Layla and or Jennifer Santinello with shirts, keychains, flyers. That is the power that is behind Sonia. Whenever you buy a shirt or an item from her store, you know that's a portion of that, because she does it automatically. She doesn't even need to be asked. You know, a portion of that is going to victims, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because it's not free to send shirts to people. It's not free to send them keychains. Somebody's got to pay for it, right? So those items, Sonia has been gracious about making sure at minimum, Layla's family has everything that they have needed. We've been out there searching. She has never, every time she's known that I was going out there, we had this last search was a little crazy. You know, it wasn't like our first two searches. It was just, we just had this last trip that we went was just saddled with a bunch of problems that we weren't expecting. My car wouldn't start. And of course, I can't tell you guys that because, every time I say anything on here, was getting beat up at the time. It's like, oh, she's trying to beg for, like, I can't even tell you guys just normal stuff that goes on a case, because everybody, just chops up my information or my words and manipulates them. So it's just the simple fact that I still haven't asked anybody. This was weeks ago, right? But now that it's been weeks, I can tell you what really happened. And I'm getting tired of having to bow down to certain creators that think that they have a control over how I talk and what I say. But either way, it was just saddled with a lot of problems. Aileen had some things going on that she just didn't expect. And we kind of had to rally together with her and just get the problem resolved. And that was literally right in the middle. We had just started. We just got to Starbucks. We were just getting our coffees and our drinks, and we were just about to get started on our search. And we get the call that we needed to come and help lend a hand, which we did. So that day, the search was just all messed up. We ended up going out and searching for many hours, but we just had a delay. And then, of course, I went when we got back there. I went to crank up my car to go back to where our search area was, and my car would not start. So I had to leave my car at the hotel and jump into the vehicle with Olivia and Mom and ride with them. I ended up having to have my car towed to an auto shop to have it fixed before I could come back to Florida. But again, those are things I never told anybody because I couldn't. I apparently I'm the only creator that's not allowed to talk about anything I want to talk about, right? But I'm going to start doing what I want to do. I'm not going to let people, affect me, because it's not fair that they affect me. But these are the things that happen on our cases. And like I say, it's all about the adventure, and we kind of roll with the punches. There has never been a case that I've gone on that has gone flawlessly. I've had cracked phones. I've had, pennies in the bank and needed to go buy, a phone because my phone broke, and freaking out that I can barely make it home with gas, right? That was the Quentin Simon thing, right? When we first got there, like the first day or two, I broke my phone. And I'm just like, crap. So I had to go and get a cheap phone that didn't work very well. And within 2 days of that, I had that phone cracked and tore up. So, I mean, it really is, we when you go out there, you just really don't have, there's nothing that goes without problems. But I try to bring like literally the whole house with me. So when problems do happen, I don't have to pay for them. I've already got the stuff with me, right? So now I carry around 3 or 4 phones, old phones, right? I got the one that I love Jen's phone that does 8K. She sent me a phone. I've got my my iPhone. I got my I don't know what kind of phone the other one is, but the SIM card was missing on it. But it's good for running a live. If I need 2 lives going, I've got 2 ways to do the live and a camera to do recordings. So I'm good. I'm good. But we are prepared. I can tell you that just about every single phone I've got like these are my Samsungs. Look at this. I don't know if you guys can see that. It doesn't even turn on. The screen just doesn't, you can't even see on the screen. Like I can plug this into the computer and pull like photos and stuff off of it as long as it's my Dell computer. This one here, this is what pissed me off. You see that tiny little crack? The screen is not even shattered. It's not even shattered. This right here, it killed my whole entire LCD from this little part all the way down. There's nothing here. Oh no, it's all the way up. This is all green. So everything from this thing is all green. You can't even use this phone. That's why I try to stay away from, that's the only reason why I don't like Samsungs, is because of how easy, but that's an S10. I think they've modified their phones since then, because Jen sent me the 2023, what is it? What did you send me, Jen? You sent me the S20, I think is what you sent me. It's the S20. It's or the S23. I don't know which one it is. It's one of the ones. But she sent me one, and I thought I broke it. And come to find out, because it fell off the counter. And I always say I break a phone in 24 hours. It's almost like a I don't know. I don't know. It's like every time I get a phone, I crack the phone within 24 hours. And so she had just gotten it. I didn't have a case for it. I didn't have anything. And I'm holding it like a little baby, right? I'm like, oh my God, I know I'm going to destroy this phone before I get a case. I know I'm going to destroy this phone. I get a case. And so I go into the kitchen and I go to make some coffee, and I lay it on the counter, and I hear boom. And I'm like, not the phone, not the phone, not the phone. Not the phone. Please tell me what the phone. It was the phone. And so I pick up the phone. I look in the corner, and there's a flipping crack. Just pulled this mother, you know what, out of the box. Literally out of the box. I mean, and Jennifer had it wrapped. Like she had like bubble wrap around this phone like this. Like when you got it, you could have thrown it against the wall and it bounced and hit you in the head, right? It had this much freaking bubble wrap around this phone. So I'm cutting this bubble wrap. I got this phone and I put it on the counter, and bam, it goes down on the floor, and I'm like, shit. Go and pick it up. First thing I notice, crack in the corner. And I'm like, son of a... I had just spoken to Olivia too. And I said, Olivia, I don't know what I'm going to do. I said, I feel like I'm about to crack this phone. I said, this phone's heavy. It's going to fall out of my hands. I know it's going to fall out of my hands because I've got neuropathy. And so I'm freaking out. And then I get the crack. And so I'm just devastated. I just got this phone and at the corner in the crack. And so I didn't even know how I was going to tell Jennifer. I'm like, oh, good Lord. You know, maybe I'll just keep it to myself. And she talks to me about something, and she's like, well, how's the phone been working out? I said, well, because I needed it. I didn't have my SIM card was messed up on my other phone, so I couldn't use a phone. So I had to travel with her phone in my hotspot just to have some type of somebody to the outside. You know, I had no phone. I was down for like 2 weeks with a phone. So anyways, I was talking to her about something, and she started talking about the crack in the phone. I said, crack in the phone? She's like, yeah. I said, huh. So I thought I cracked the damn phone. She's like, where? In the corner? I'm like, yes, it fell off the counter onto the floor. She's like, no, you didn't crack the phone. She goes, I did that. I'm like, and you're talking about days of me sweating over here. Like I get the phone and I always say within 24 hours, but this wasn't even literally 2 hours. It wasn't even 2 hours after having the phone. It falls on the floor and it cracks. And then I find out after beating myself up, it was all Jen's fault. It was all Jen's fault. It sure was. She did it. It wasn't me. That's what I thought about that. Guess who gave me this thing? Guess who gave me this thing for Christmas? It even has a face on it. Look at that. Sticking a tongue out. Aileen Aileen gave me that. Aileen gave me that for my Christmas gift when I was up there. It was sweet of her. It was sweet of her. And right up our alley, too. Right up our alley. What do you need? Who are you? What'd you do? All right. Now, if I would have pushed it and you had it go, like a flush, then it would probably be really funny. But then if every time I'm playing it, when you guys are watching videos and you hear the toilet flush, we're gonna have haters saying, "Bullhorn Betty is using the bathroom on live." People, nothing better to do. Hey, Huntress, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. So that's really, what do you guys think about this? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this. I feel like this is a little bit of jealousy, but it always makes me, because in this article, we're going to hear, tomorrow when we're reading it a little bit further, and I'm going to go over this. So for the next week here at noontime, we're going to be discussing cold justice and this article. So again, I did put the article down in the description, or not the description, in the chat. I'm going to do it again. So if you guys would like to grab this link and you can read the article for yourself, and you'll see where we are going with this particular matter. We are going to be going down this line over the next few days, and we're going to do that because it's important that we go over this, because if she did prosecutorial, I'm having a tongue-tying problem with this, prosecutorial misconduct, then I want to explore that, because I've trusted her ability to bring these cases, and I've trusted her integrity to do the right thing because she's an officer, or was an officer of the law. I have not checked into her license with Texas, if she's given it up, because now she's kind of like this star. And it sounds like she's got a promising adult career ahead of her in solving these cases. The work that she, and the education and the experience that she has received through that the prosecutor's office is something that she can never unlearn. I love learning. I think oh, look who it is. Baby Yoda. How are you doing, my love? Cooking ribs, barbecue. Hey, wait a minute. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. How are you going to come on the Bullhorn Betty channel? Tell me it's your day off, that you're cooking ribs and barbecue chicken. Ha, 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 ha. Chicken head. Okay. Rib head. How are you going to come in here and dangle ribs and chicken in front of Bullhorn Betty and not invite me over? Like, where's my plane ticket? I'm just saying, it's chicken and ribs. I don't like you anymore. You're cast out. You must go. Oh, baby Yoda, it's nice seeing you in here, love. It's nice seeing you in here, love. Just enjoy that, and make sure you eat an extra helping for me. And think of me while you're eating it, because I'll be over here crying. I'll be over here. Baby Yoda, how's it? I'm going to ask you tomorrow. I'm going to say, how is the chicken and ribs? How is my chicken and ribs? That's what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you how my chicken and ribs are, because that's what I'm asking you to eat on my behalf. And barbecue at Betty's, LOL. I've got this huge Mac Daddy grill out here. I haven't used it in years. I need to get it out. I need to clean it up. But it has a smoker in it. And there was one year I had a huge party. And I can't remember how many people were here. What I call a huge party is like 40 people, right? That's a huge party here for this small little house. Trust me, it was pretty big. And I was able to cook everybody's meal on that grill. Literally everybody's meal. I had the corn, I had the potatoes, and I literally had, I want to say, like 16 pieces of chicken, at least 8 burgers. I had 2 racks of ribs. What else did I have? I had bratwurst, hot dogs, chicken, ribs. There was something else. And steak. And I was literally able to cook all of that on the grill. You start with the longest, whatever takes the longest, and then you build off that. You put your longest, the meat that takes the longest on the grill first, then the second longest, third long. You see how it works? And you time it. So by the time you're done cooking, every bit of your meat is coming off at the same time. So everybody's got an option. So you got to do it that way. The ribs take the absolute longest for me, but those go into the, and those are smoked at very, very low temperature throughout the night with some apple juice. I do apple juice on my ribs, and what kind of, I think mesquite. I think mesquite wood chips. I can't remember what kind of wood chips I used. I think the mesquite were the ones I used the last time. And I actually want a cherry wood, and I want pecan wood. That, I got to tell you, some of the walnut and pecan wood is some of the best smelling stinking wood you have ever burnt in your life. And I'm telling you, it gives like your food a nice nutty flavor. It really does. A smoky, nutty flavor. It's just a different kind of smoke flavor in it. And I think it tastes good. If you don't like walnuts yeah, you probably aren't gonna like the smoke. But I gotta tell you, when I put some walnut limbs in a fire, whoo, doggy, I swear it smelled so heavenly. Yeah, it smelled so heavenly. My aunt has several black walnut trees out in South Carolina. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's really all I have for you. I hope you guys had an amazing day. Thank you for coming. As you know, we're running on both channels and just trying to build up the viewership. We will be back on Bullhorn Betty side full time. We're going to be starting to work on crafting or revamping the crime story site, because if you remember, we weren't planning on utilizing that channel for crime stories. We were only going to use this for crime stories and that for something else. But since it's a monetized account, and just for the next week or so, we're going to just try to we're going to focus on one. I don't want to have everybody in two separate places. So I'm going to start doing, this is probably going to be the last live that we do on both YouTube channels together. I'm going to be on the main account here for true crime, and then we're going to do videos on this until I revamp the whole second channel. The second channel is not going to be true crime at all. Some of you guys are going to like what I'm going to do with the channel, and some of you guys are going to absolutely hate it. I will tell you that right now, and that's okay. It's a second channel that you can or cannot participate in. It's whatever you choose to do. Good afternoon. I don't want to keep sounding like a broken record. I don't mean to be disrespectful, just curious. Did you already post the live in your community chat? Post the live in your community. I don't know what live you're talking about. So, and not only that, but I think you've already been highly and ultimately and utterly disrespectful to me for the last 2 years, including trying to ruin an 8-year-old's Christmas with your bullshit and your lies. I'm sorry, but it's just inappropriate. You don't even know me, and I appreciate you coming in here and being courteous. I have to be honest with you. I do appreciate that. But, it's just, the stuff's got to stop. It just has to stop. The bullying here has to stop. I work very hard. Give me a second. Actually, I'll just talk to you guys at 4. All right. So we'll see you guys soon.